Hello and welcome to Somerset Highlander.
So it's early October and this is just a quick follow-up just to show you the garden and especially the turf that I trimmed back significantly, hacked back in early August. Normally you would probably trim it a little bit later in the season, but because of where I live it's a little bit warmer, so the landscape turf and the enriched turf tends to go over earlier, so our seasons are a bit earlier and last a bit longer. So as you can see, 6 weeks after cutting it back, maybe 7 weeks, you would never think that I've actually cut the turf, and we already have significant growth, and it's lovely to see. I'm not sure how well it will survive when we do get the really cold weather, but we've got more clover coming through, bird's foot trefoil, and it's just incredible really how well it's done. Across the way you can see we actually have a lot of growth as well by the pond, and again I hacked it right back, so it's done really well, surprisingly well. What I'm really pleased about though as well is this is borage, and the borage struggled to survive in certain parts of the garden, but this is actually self-seeded and it's already come up. This is October, I think it's October the 3rd now, and that's come back up all on its own, and it's providing more nectar and pollen for insects this late in the season. I have trimmed back significantly the growth from the lesser spearwort and the irises and the mint. However, it's continually growing, so I'm just trimming it as and when need to. The algae now seems to have gone over on the whole. We've still got some, but on the whole it's starting to die back. You can see the water's really clear. The courtyard garden's doing really well. When I was obviously putting it together, the summer video, I couldn't believe actually the difference, and it's only when you look back on the videos you realise how much growth there's been. And as you can see here, we've still got flowering plants and the growth has been great. Really like the periwinkles that are starting to drape over as well. The hedge is coming up with some very nice different coloured leaves, but we've got rose hips on it as well. Just adds a bit of colour, but more importantly it adds food for the birds when things start to get really tough, which will probably be in the next few weeks. The real showstopper at this time of year is the Michaelmas daisies. They've started to take over the cottage garden this time of year, but they have only been out for a couple of months, and to be fair, they have come out after all the other plants have come and gone, the penstemons and the lavender and everything like that. We've still got the Russian sage at the back, but as you can see we have a lot of Michaelmas daisies. They've done really well. Bees are still getting their feed off it. I suspect maybe another few weeks it'll start to get really cold, and that's when we'll start to cut it back. And then if we start to move over, you got the copse, and again things are starting to branch out. The catmint's nearly done for the year, but it's still looking all right. The geraniums of Verbena are just incredibly, they're covering beautifully everything. What we also have here, I don't know how easy it'll be to see. You can see in here, if I put my finger in, you can see maybe it's sort of been a root, something's been rootling around, and it's probably the badger. He's definitely had a go in here as well, but actually that's all good, because all it's doing is just turning the turf over, turning the air around. It loosens it, it just keeps everything in good health. But the badger's getting a meal as well. But you can still see, this is early October, we still have some decent growth in here. The red over there is the penstemons, so that's given us a second flowering this year. The echinaceas has been brilliant. It's starting to die back a little bit now, but it's given structure and form to the garden, and actually it still is flowering, but I'm going to have to probably move the Michaelmas daisies back a bit just to give them a bit of room because they're starting to get crowded out now.